All right, 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Wanda Wheatley. I am the commissioner for Ward 3. I am also the chair of the commission. It is now 7 p.m. It is July 10th, 2022. And we are ready to start our regular town meeting. So we will get started with roll call. And I will start with Ward 1 Commissioner Young.
Present.
Ward 2 Commissioner Armache.
Present. Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Ward 3 Commissioner Wheatley is present. Ward 4 Commissioner Givens.
Givens present.
Thank you. Commissioner at Large Yuri is absent and will not be joining us tonight. We do have 4 commissioners, so we have enough for a quorum. We will continue with our meeting. Next on our agenda tonight are our minutes and the review of our financial report and our work session and town meeting for the month of July. Our town treasurer, Mr. Frankenstein.
Frankenfield.
Frankenfield, Todd.
That'll work too.
Yeah, is not joining us tonight. He is on vacation. Lucky him. But if you have any questions, we can certainly take them back to him when he returns. I did have several questions. Not so much about the financials, but just little comments. And maybe you can answer one of my questions on the financial reports, Carol. There's an entry on page 1. And it's for, it's line 1225 for Brian Murphy. Do you know what that's about?
No, I do not.
Okay, can you find out when Todd gets back what that one is about?
Brian Murphy. I will certainly check on that.
Okay,
I'm
and
making a note of it.
okay. And then on page 3, I noted under line 5065.7 that there's a donation for the fire department for $1,000. I'm guessing we're not going to make that this year since we already gave the 30,000.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
he probably just forgot to take that out.
Or he can just put a note, saying that we made a alternative donation or something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
From ARPA.
Yeah, and then I had a question about the 4th of July. It says, I guess we budgeted 300, but it looks like we went over by $129.
Yes, because we did get some additional donations. So even though we went over, and then the chief also gave $1,000 from his community outreach fund because he didn't have some of the activities he usually had. And then we had a person who's a realtor in the community sponsor the raffle and printing the tickets and buying the prizes.
For 4th of July?
I'm sorry, for 4th of July or Cottage
Yeah.
City Day?
No, 4th of July. It's line item 5150.55. It's on page 3 at the bottom.
Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, I was talking about Cottage City Day.
Yeah, looks like we budgeted 300, but I guess we went over. Is that because we rented the spotlight for
Yes, ma'am.
The trail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I wanted to ask about, there's two things that I saw that it's not, I'm not questioning the charges, but I do feel like perhaps we could be a little more discreet without putting people's names on these public documents. So like when someone comes and asks for relief or assistance, I don't think we should publicize their name. I think that's private information. And I don't think it should be, the funds could show, but I don't think we should show their name. I just feel
Understood.
like that's a violation of someone's privacy.
I think because they're public funds, that may not be. You need to confer with legal. Kevin?
Well, do we have to advertise their name? I mean, we can say what the money was used for, but I don't think we have to advertise their name.
I mean, I'd like to get a hearing from Kevin. I mean, you're using public funds, so I'm not sure, but I'd like to hear from Kevin.
Is Mr. Best one? I don't know.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Best?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Can you answer Commissioner Gibbons' question, please?
Yes, Commissioner Gibbons, the Public Information Act for Maryland would consider financial information of a personal nature dealing with one resident or one citizen to be something that would not be disclosable in an MPI request. So it would be prudent for the town to redact or to refrain from divulging information that might reveal someone's financial status.
So how would we, so in light of that, so that it's not, because I mean, I could see how that could end up, not to say that anyone here would be what's saying, but there needs to be some type of system put in place. I mean, if you don't want to say the person's name, we got to have some type of, like even as a police officer, we had confidential informants. So we gave them a number. We didn't want to give up their name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that we have some type of tracking device, you know what I'm saying, to the public.
I agree, Commissioner. There needs to be a public record with that individual's name on it, connected to any funds or programs they participate in. It's just in terms of releasing that information to the public, that's another story. So yeah, you want to create the public record, but numerous public records are non-disclosable. For example, all the personnel files and records that you have about your employees, they're non-disclosable information in general. Commissioner Gibbons, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Best. Basically, that's what I was saying. Maybe I didn't say it in too much detail, but what I was saying was that, yes, we keep a record of it. We have to keep a record of it because it goes through our payment system through bill.com. So that's the record. I'm just saying for public documents like the budget or the financial report, I don't think we need to identify the individual. We can identify the expenditure, but you can redact their name or you can give them a number, or I don't even think you should put their address out. And right now, it has people's personal names, it has their home address. So I just think we should be cautious. That's what I'm saying in regards to privacy.
All right, so that, yeah, I get that. But in this, and I hear you. All I'm saying is, and I don't want to make it too complicated. So I mean, it may be as simple as participant of the such and such program, right? You know, qualified participant of such and such program, and that may suffice. But on this, on the document that you're speaking of, because when people look at it, you just can't put, because people are going to say, well, who does this go to? You know what I'm saying? You need to kind of direct it towards, okay, this is the participant, someone who participated or was in need of relief or whatever. You don't have to, you know, if this, in this case, he said you have to put their name, but I think you have to put something. You can't just put like the number and nothing aside, because then you bring too much in a question.
Well, we can figure that out.
You can figure that out with Kevin.
We can figure that out. But,
Yeah, figure that out with Kevin, you know.
but there
something at the meeting.
definitely is a record. They have to fill out an application.
No,
It has
no,
to
no, no,
go
that's not
through
the
a
point. No,
process.
that's not the point. I'm not negating any of that. All I'm saying is for this document,
Mhm,
we're at a public meeting. A citizen
Right.
reads the document. And if you just have the money there, they're like, well, who did it go to? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, have some segue to where it says, okay, well, it was a participant or something to that effect. I'm sure Kevin and the town manager could work some type of verbiage.
Yeah,
yield
well,
back.
they'll figure something out. But in the
Okay.
future, if we can refrain from using personal names or personal addresses. All right,
Understood.
thank you. That's all I had on the financials. I do have some corrections on the minutes, but I will yield the floor to anyone else who wants to ask questions in regards to the financial report.
I don't have any questions this time around. Thank you.
Same.
Commissioner Givens, did you have any questions in regards to the financial report? No?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll move on to the minutes. So for the work session, I have a few edits. Oops. I'm going to start with the July 5th meeting minutes. Let's see if I go down to the second page, number 6, under Town Hall Open Meetings. And the second sentence, it says the commission decided to start doing hybrid meetings, but please delete the second, the THE, the is not needed. It's a repeat. Under Department of Housing and Community Development Grant number 8, I just have a question, Carol. Did we make the deadline for that grant application that was due on July 13th?
Yes, we did. We did complete that grant application to request money for the renovations of the firehouse, the old firehouse that the town received.
Okay, great. And under that same section where it says, let's see, must be the third sentence, the purpose for the grant provides competitive funds. The T off of grant was left off. So that's a spelling correction. And I believe that's all I had for that one. And then on the regular, excuse me? Was there a comment?
See who you are, and there's no sound, there's no vision. This is Richard Cote, and I'm dialed in, but there is no video for me.
Mr. Cote, in order for you to get the video, you would have to go into the Zoom to get the video. There is no video under the dial-in. It's just audio.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Thank
can
you.
participate via just audio.
So you said you can participate with just audio.
Yes, you can.
You want to do that?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, once we get to your section, we'll be happy to hear your comments. If you could just go on mute at this time, because we're reviewing our minutes and financials, please.
Unmute.
Thank you. Thank
Put it
you.
on mute.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's see, on the
Oh,
July,
Maybe it's on your phone. It's on. I don't know. Turn it down.
One moment.
thank you. So, going to the July 13th minutes for the regular town meeting. On the second page under number 4. Let's see, what sentence is this? 1, 2, 3. The fourth sentence where it says Maryland heritage areas are places to experience, to see, hear, And he tastes the authentic heritage of Maryland is ways that. In ways that, so the T was left off. It shouldn't be hat, it should be that. And then let's see, what else did I have on that one? I wanted to ask a question. Did the staff hold the cookout for the interns?
No, it's scheduled for this Friday.
And what time is that?
It's like during lunchtime, I think around 12:30.
Okay,
1 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Oh, 1 o'clock, okay. At the gazebo?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then let's see. On page 4, under the town manager's update number 11. This is when you were talking about, I guess, that option for the time clock and some kind of retinal scan.
Mm-hmm.
It says the commission discussed they did not see this as a necessity. So I think she meant to say they did not see this as a necessity.
Okay.
And then, let's see. I'm gonna have to see what I'm doing. Let's see. And it might be. I wanted to ask Commissioner Yuri about the English class, but since she's not here today, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you can answer this question. It says it's gonna start back in August. Now, will he be using his own Zoom account for those classes? Do you know?
Yeah, because that was discussed previously, that he would use his own Zoom account.
And he understands that we're not paying for his account?
Well, that was what Commissioner Yuri was supposed to explain to him. Whether that has happened or not, I can't speak to, because I haven't discussed it with Commissioner Yuri.
Can you follow up on that one for me?
Okay.
Because if we're gonna pay for the Zoom, it doesn't make sense for him to use his own account if we're gonna pay him for it. That's just defeating the purpose.
Right.
And that is it for me. I have no other comments. Any comments on the minutes?
Yes,
I
Madam
think you
Chair.
got everything.
Commissioner Young, you said you didn't have anything? Okay, anyone else?
Right, I think you got all the typos that I noticed.
Okay.
I have
Anyone else?
I have a couple minor that I don't think, forgive me if you did call these out, but I don't think so. Under number 3, the last line where it says
Which date?
well, really that whole sentence. So agenda items, number 3, the last sentence, the scope of work will lead to a design concept that will show the community outreach center should be capitalized, each one of those, adaptive reuse strategy.
Are you on the work session or the town minutes? Which
Sorry, I'm
meeting?
in the same town minutes that you were just in, the work session agenda. The minutes.
No, I was in the regular minutes. You're on the work session?
Tuesday, July 5th.
That's the work session.
Okay, one moment.
So you said number 3, scope of work.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the edit?
Under scope of work, the last sentence, the scope of work will lead to a design concept that will show the community outreach center, I believe should be capitalized, adaptive reuse strategy and approach for the historic Cottage City should be capitalized. I know those are minor.
Yeah, we can, I agree.
And then there's also, I thought I heard you say this one, but maybe you were in different minutes. Under number 8, the purpose for the grant, the T is missing.
Yes, I did say that one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then there was one other. Oh, first aid should be capitalized. Number 12. Discussing Chief Ayers' second sentence, he would like to get 2 officers certified in first aid. First aid should be capitalized.
Okay,
That's it.
all right. Thank you. Any other edits or comments, questions? Anything missing that should have been captured? All right, hearing none. I will call for approval of the minutes and financial report with edits as noted. Is there a motion to approve with the edits that were discussed
So
tonight?
moved.
Was that Commissioner Young or Commissioner Armache?
Young, thank you.
Commissioner Young made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Armache. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Aye, Young.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Fury is absent. Sorry, I'm getting an alert that there's guess this storm. I keep getting these alerts. All right, next up, code enforcement update. Is Mr. Redding with us tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the floor, sir.
All righty, give me 1 second.
Do you need to share your screen?
No, that's okay. Thank you, though.
Well, I'll pull up the documents you gave me. 1 moment.
Thank you. Make this big. There we go. Okay, so in front of us on the screen, it's just a breakdown of all of the violations. That way there's a little more understanding of like what are the most common things that have been written up recently, at least. You know, because I don't think grass, weeds, and uncultivated vegetation will apply in the next few months, but of course, right now, that is, you know, a big issue. You know, outdoor storage has been an ongoing issue. Yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. You know, these are the everyday things. If you look down towards the bottom, though, you'll see like the vacant property registration. There's one. That property in particular, you know, also had a couple of other violations attached. You know, so you know, just trying to get that one under control. Also, let's see. What the other document. So I also did like a printout from Kate, and I know like the last time that we have spoken, it's a little confusing when you're not used to using it all the time. So I'm not overly crazy about the way this looks because graphs aren't always super clear, but I provided the graph. This one is for just like activity in general. How many inspections were done, things like that. I'm not sure why it says no data for the force abatement, because there are a few things that have force abatement, but I guess because I haven't closed the cases, that's probably why it says that. But that just kind of gives a little summary of each month, which yeah, again, pretty straightforward. The other graph that was sent was, let me see. Okay, here we go. So like this is the resolution times and activities kind of combined. So obviously August is empty because any case that's been started in August hasn't had the opportunity to see the process through. So that's why there is no marking on that part. Activities performed, when it says like these numbers, it's me going into the system, either creating cases, updating cases, adding notes, issuing notices, things like that. You'll see that where it says violations resolved, that part, the orange in there that says null, that is because an address was entered incorrectly. Sometimes when it pulls from the GIS system, even when you type in the address, for whatever reason, it won't recognize it. So, I just go in there, but for auditing reasons, you can't actually go in and delete it. So you have to null the case. So that's why it says that. Let's see what else. Inspections completed. That is either me going in and closing the case, like as a follow-up. Because when you start a case, you perform the inspection, it's either compliant or not compliant. And so it will still say inspections completed because it goes based off of the date of compliance that it's due by. So that's what that part means. And then the other thing that I sent over, give me 1 second. There we are. So this is just more of like a summary. So as I just showed you guys, there's 13 open cases. I wrote this Monday. That number has actually changed. Let me log in. I will actually tell you. There are 11 open cases, so 2 of them have been closed out. I was able to get compliance. 3 properties have been sent out for abatement. One of them, I believe, is going to be scheduled for probably next week. There's outstanding citations where, I've issued citations, they haven't paid yet. Some people are under the impression that, when you issue a citation, if it's paid, that, it kind of ends there, but that's not the way it works. If somebody pays a citation, but the violation remains, you can still go to court and seek abatement. So I'm still waiting on payment from those. I'm going to send 2 of them to court because the time has come and gone for them to request trial. So hopefully I can get those resolved. The vacant property that I mentioned, the registration. So the property is on 37th Avenue. I was able to talk with the new owner. She inherited the house. There's been some complaints of, the current state of the property. And there's been a little bit of confusion on who is responsible and who is getting the notice, but I believe it just changed hands. I spoke with the newest owner. She wasn't 100% sure what she wanted to do with the property. However, she is open to meeting me and going over what I expect and what the town expects. So we are supposed to meet, it was supposed to be this week, but there was weather and she had some issues with travel. So I'm hoping that maybe we can do it next week. Let's skip over the next one. So the Eurolux property, I've reached out to PG County, the director of zoning over there. And I am now in communication with one of his inspectors. We're supposed to meet at the business because the property, while it does run a business, the business, they're storing vehicles and now moving them to the street, and I'm getting complaints from citizens that they can't get parking. I've spoken with the owner of the business and told him that cannot do that. Any vehicle that touches the street has to have tags. So there's been a lot of turmoil from the residents in the business. I thought we made a little bit of headway, but now the problem has just gotten worse. So I'm hoping that the county will really back us up as far as enforcing it and making them comply. Because the issue really is that they're storing the vehicles there that they're supposed to do repairs on, and they've run out of room on the lot. So now they're just moving vehicles around and putting them on the street. And the street is already busy as can be. So when they're doing that, they're just taking away from everybody that lives there.
Mr. Redden,
Ma'am.
Mr. Redden, before you go on, can you give us the exact location of where this Eurolux is? What street is it?
It is Bladensburg Road, and the actual address is, I believe it's 4100.
So they're moving cars on Bladensburg Road.
No, they're moving, the business is on Bladensburg Road. They're moving the vehicles onto, what is that?
41st.
41st, yes.
Okay, that's the street. That's the address I wanted. I wanted the street for where they're putting the cars. So they're putting the cars on 41st.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been quite a nightmare because that street, even without those vehicles, is already pretty congested. But here recently, I don't know.
Is that the business that where the car caught on fire?
Correct.
And is the burnt car still sitting on the street?
No, ma'am, we told it.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. You can continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to get a clear picture of where you were.
Recently, especially, it's almost expected with the weather. A lot of people have been, cleaning out their houses, or people are moving in, and I've seen a lot of pods and dumpsters. However, in our code, there's nothing that states that they can't, have them on the street. And there's nothing that, limits them for how long they can have them. And so I've gathered a number of local municipalities, at least, that have requirements for it. That way we can limit how long they're sitting on the street or sitting in somebody's, driveway, and now they're taking parking on the street. And so, as you all are aware, parking is already an issue around here. And so when these things happen, it's like a domino effect. So I'm hoping to have something that I can bring in front of you all and the town manager as far as creating an ordinance to make people have to obtain a permit to have a dumpster or a pod. And then the last thing, so the brochure. So during National Night Out, there was like a relatively simple, straightforward little 4 violations, little pamphlet in black and white. However, I think having a nicer, cleaner version of it would be a good idea to just distribute to the public, both in English and Spanish. And, when I give somebody, say, like a warning, or even go and talk to people, or when I'm just out walking around, I think that would be the opportunity to give them out, to educate. That way, they'll know what the code requirements are. I don't think they need to be overly lengthy, but like you saw from the little graph, a lot of the violations that happen are usually the same thing over and over. So if we put that in like a nice colorful thing with pictures and things like that, people love color and pictures. So I think that will go over well. So that is something that I have in the works. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for July, at least.
Thank you. I want to go back to the bullet that you skipped over. The properties, the 9 properties that have been warned about the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to that, because looking at your report, it says there's 23 violations of grass, weeds, and uncultivated vegetation. So is
Correct.
it 13, or is it 23, or is it 9? What's the number?
So
What's the right number?
So the 9 are the ones that are outstanding, like they've been warned and they haven't cut the grass yet. The 23, you can subtract 9 out of that, which are still outstanding, but the other ones have already complied. So that's why the number is different than what's in the report. Because those cases have been warned, but they've already complied. The grass has been cut.
Okay, so what are you doing for the 9 that aren't in compliance?
They still have a little bit of time. The ones that, where it says like there's outstanding citations, those people have had the time and they haven't complied. So those will be sent over to our contractor, and hopefully we can get it abated and so on and so forth.
How much time do you give them?
It is by code at least. So if I can, it's 7 days. However, mail takes time. So it's usually 10 days from when I see it. I'll send notice. It's a 10-day period because they usually don't receive mail for 2 days at least. So it's 7 days technically, but it's a 10-day grace period, or 7-day grace period and 10-day requirement. If it's not done within 10 days, then it will be sent out to get abated.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Redding while we have him here?
Madam Chair,
I believe I heard someone, but I couldn't tell who it was.
I had a couple of questions. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead, town manager.
No, go ahead, Mr. Best. Go ahead, Mr. Best.
All right, Madam Chair, if I may, I wanted to ask a couple questions of the code enforcement officer. Mr. Redding, when you say send out for abatement, I certainly know a lot about abatement, but I'm wondering what you mean by that. Could you explain a little bit?
I can. So our process, at least the process that is in place currently, is that I will issue notice, when I see the violation, when notice is issued. If the time has come and gone as far as, for them to comply, then, the code doesn't state that I have to give additional time or any of that. However, like I said, the 10 days, if it's not done within 10 days, it gets sent over to our public works crew. I give them pictures, proof of notice that they've been warned. And then they send it out to our contractor, and then the contractor force cuts the property, and then they receive a bill.
Okay, well, that raises an issue. I don't want you to necessarily answer the question, but that raises the issue of the difference between administrative abatement and judicial abatement. So I wonder if you have authority under the code to refer out the abatement to Public Works, because typically abatements can only be done after a court orders the abatement. So we can talk about that some more later. I don't want to go into depth right now about that. But let me ask you another question. Dealing with the commercial property on Bladensburg Road, that when they have overflow and they're parking their vehicles on the town street, are you saying you have no code provision in the code of Cottage City to cite that business owner for that violation?
So from a code officer standpoint, if they're parking vehicles on the street,
Yes.
without tags, then it's more of a police matter. And so I'll notify police, and then they can do something. And I could send notice, and I've had the conversation with the owner. And so the MO has been that he'll switch plates out on vehicles, and then put them on the street. And so, I'll have like officers run the tags of the vehicles and things like that. But, when it's on private property, and this is how I've always known it to be, is that if it's private property, it's a code matter. If it's on public streets, it's a police matter.
That would be true. Okay, thank you for that. And lastly, you said that people are placing pods or dumpsters in the town right of way, the town street. Is that what you're stating?
So like on the street, where there's somebody could park in front of their house, they'll have pods out there. And so it's taking away from parking spots.
Right. Well, Mr. Redding, are you saying there's no code provision to cite that infraction?
There isn't. It's because it's not defined as a commercial vehicle.
Right.
There's nothing currently in place.
The town has an ordinance that requires permits to make changes to the right of way, whether it be to do a cut or digging, whether it be a street cut, whether it be to encumber the right of way. Maybe you need to look at that ordinance, because I think you already have the authority to cite using that particular ordinance. If you have any questions, let me know. But that finishes my inquiry. So I thank you for your time on that.
Commissioner Givens. Yeah. So we've had this issue in the past, so it's not new. But what they've and no, they did not, as I recall, did not eventually put some type of what's name in place. But what we were concerned about is not the prevention of them being able to place the pod, but the length of time more so. Because the reality is everybody that has a house here doesn't necessarily have a driveway. And so, and all things being fair, one would want to look at, what's a reasonable amount of time. Again, this is something that the commission, I think that should definitely look into and address. And perhaps they could come up with what they would find reasonable and fair to those residents who don't necessarily have a driveway to utilize to place a pod when needed to be used. So I yield back. Thank you.
Carol, I think you wanted to say something or ask a question.
I'll address it later. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on. Unless there's any other questions for Mr. Redding. If not, we'll move on, Mr. Redding. Thank you for your report. I really like it. I like the design. It's very detailed. So I appreciate you providing that to us tonight.
Not a problem. You all have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Let me get back to the agenda. Next, we have public comments.
I wanted to make a public comment, but I didn't know how to
Just a-
sign up.
Just a second, please. So, Carol,
Yes.
it looks like the agenda has been revised. No. Okay, so I thought originally we were gonna talk about Mr. Cote's retaining wall during public comment. So now we're not gonna do that. We're gonna wait until new business to talk about it.
No, it's public comments now. Mr. Cote can address it as well as other residents.
Okay, but on the agenda, it's under new business.
Is it? Well, it
Yes.
shouldn't be. That's a mistake.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I know that Mr. Cote wanted to speak in regards to his retaining wall. And
Yes.
then we'll go to the next public comment, which I couldn't tell who that was, but I know there was someone else. So Mr. Cote, we'll start with you and then we'll go to the next resident or individual. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say that over the years, and I've been here for over 40 years now, close to that, to my retaining wall between my garage and the alleyway. It has been becoming a very big problem because my retaining wall can no longer sustain the weight of all the garbage trucks coming down the alleyway. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for Bates coming down the alleyway. And they're using the large trucks, which are stopping, of course, in front of my house and depressing the roadway down. And with the rain and the snow and the freezing and the thawing, there's not much that's happening. What other than the fact that the road is actually developing a lot of cracks, and my wall is been leaning now for years, and I'm afraid that one day the trucks are going to be coming down that alleyway and ending up falling over onto my garage. I've had to replace my my wall between my house and the alleyway a couple of times because Bates has destroyed the wall as it's made its turn onto the street, making a left-hand turn from the alleyway onto the street. I've since had that wall repaired, but I can't do very much with the wall between my garage and the alley. And it needs to be addressed. We need to have an engineer come by to take a look at it and what can be done about it.
Smaller trucks,
Huh?
smaller trucks.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of right now to alleviate some of the problem and ease the cost for the town is to have Bates use the smaller trucks the garbage trucks coming down the alley. That may take care of it for a little while, but it's really becoming a serious problem for me. And I can't take on that cost.
Carol, do you have the pictures that you can bring up?
Yeah, the thing is I'm not exactly sure how to do that.
No, we're gonna have the town manager do it, Mr. Cote.
Okay,
Actually, I don't, let me see, one moment.
I know I sent them.
Yeah,
I sent some, and also Mr. Cote sent some.
They're the same pictures, Ann.
oh, there.
I think he sent a couple that were different. The ones I took were from the alleyway. He sent a couple that were taken from his parking area by the garage.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to locate them. I didn't have them ready.
email to you, Carol.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, Mr. Cote, what's your street that you live on?
the street address is 3805 37th Avenue. And it's the alley that comes down that to 37th Avenue from 38th.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are no pictures attached.
I definitely sent you the pictures.
Hold on.
I feel like I remember receiving them via a text message.
Yeah, that's how I got them too. Whatever.
No, I sent them in an email. When Mr. Cote sent them to me, I forwarded his email to you with the pictures. And I asked you to please have them ready for the meeting.
Okay, I have them. Moment.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first one. Can everyone see that?
Not yet.
It must be loading.
Yeah, I see it.
That one's from inside his parking area. This one shows.
Yeah, as you can see, the wall is actually leaning towards my garage. And each time the trucks come down that alleyway, it just, it gets worse in the summertime and then also in the winter because you get the freezing and the thawing. And in the summertime, the tar is heated up so much by the heat that we've been having. Just the sheer weight of the trucks just pushes that, compresses that roadway down more and more.
Can you make the picture a little bigger, please?
Yeah, I think you can tap on it and then enlarge it.
Thank you.
As you can see, the brickwork is being damaged considerably.
And Mr. Cote, you said you've had the wall repaired twice?
Well, the lower wall has been repaired 3 times.
Three times.
Where, at the corner. I did not take a picture of that. I've got pictures of it when the Bates hit it, but I don't have those available at the moment. It'll
And
take me a
each
while.
time it was repaired, that was an expense that you took on, or did the trucking company assist in repairing your wall at all? Or
The
reimburse you at all?
Bates has had repaired it 3 times, and the third time, when the mason was there, I asked him to how much it would cost for me to have the entire wall from my house down to the street, what it would cost me. And he gave me a price, and I went ahead and paid that. But I got some reimbursement from Bates, which only paid to repair the wall as is. And that's when I made a decision to have the mason round that corner as opposed to have it square.
Richard, they also, was it Bates that put in the heavy pole down there at the corner to
No,
keep them from running into you?
I had him do that.
Oh, okay.
I had them do that. Cost me another $900 to have that done. But I don't know what to do between my retaining wall and my garage at the moment, because it just looks like that wall is gonna probably falling in at some point. And my suggestion is for the town to require Bates to use a smaller truck until we can address my retaining wall and how we're gonna do that and how it's gonna be fixed.
Okay, Carol, is that something that you can coordinate with Bates, or would that be Greg? I'm not sure.
I think that's something that the town needs to talk to Bates about, because
I understand, Mr. Cote. I'm asking the town manager, is that something she can coordinate? I'm not asking you to do that.
All right, sorry.
Yes, I can do that, but I guess I have the question of, in terms of the wall, yeah, I can contact Bates. I think if I have any other questions, I'll raise them with Bates, and I'll talk to our public works director as well.
Yeah.
And once you do that, can you follow up with Mr. Cote?
Yes,
to keep
absolutely.
him in the loop? Okay, all right. So Mr. Cote, our town manager along with our public works director are going to contact Bates to see if it's possible for them to bring in a smaller truck when they come through the alleyway.
Yeah, and I also suggest that we put a sign at the beginning of the alley that no vehicles over X amount of tonnage can come down that alleyway, to stop and prevent any moving trucks or whatever the case is coming down the alley.
Okay,
Oh.
Mr. Bass? Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, do we need to do anything prior to that in regards to putting that signage up? If we decide to do it?
Well, it sounds to me it's a municipal right of way, so you have the authority to regulate vehicular usage of it. but you need to pass a resolution to limit the gross vehicle weight on that municipal street.
And that's what, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Commissioner
Excuse me.
Givens?
I was just about to say, Commissioner Givens, sounds like you had a comment.
So I'm sympathetic to Mr. Cote's situation, and the reality is that Bates is not going to bring a smaller truck because they're trying to do the whole town. So we're going to have to consider, like when they tell you that, and they're going to tell you that, they're not going to bring a small truck. I don't see it, especially for the amount of times they have to come here every week. So probably the resolution to the problem, which creates a different problem for everybody else on the street, is to perhaps make everybody bring their trash cans to the front. And if that means that maybe the solution is at that point, maybe the town builds some type of where they can put the trash cans inside of, so they won't be so obnoxious out there on the street. But I think that you're going to have to begin to think of some other viable solutions. And I'm open to, that's the only thing I could think of right now. But I mean, everybody needs to kind of put their head together and think of what can be a solution. Because if you put that sign down there, those guys still gonna drive down that street until we kind of tell them that's not the route, right? The route to pick up the trash is XYZ. So it's just something to think about, something to consider, and we need to kind of look at some alternative solutions as well, in the event that Bates gives you that news. So I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually had posed that question. I had actually posed that question that you just stated, Commissioner Givens. And I think I was talking to the chief, and he said that they couldn't take the trash cans around to the front or something, but I asked that same question. Why couldn't the trash cans just be moved to the front? And so that way Bates won't have to go on that alleyway. So
Right.
I'm not quite sure how Ward 1 is set up over there.
I can explain to you.
I can answer that for
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I can answer too.
Can you
Chief had his
explain it,
hand up.
please? Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, most of those houses are on a hill, and their parking lots and their driveways are at the rear. So if they want to take their trash, they have to climb all the way down the steps and through their fence to get the trash cans to the front. They don't have driveways in the front. They have the driveways to the rear. That's why Bates picks their trash up from the alleyway, because that's where the driving ports for their driveways are. That's why. And
I have a
also,
comment.
to
Go
fix
ahead.
that problem is to go ahead and cement that hill, put concrete there. That way you don't have to worry about the heat and the way the trucks push that asphalt down.
That was
Okay,
going to be
thank
my
you.
comment.
Thank you,
I thought
Chief.
Richard,
Thank you, Chief.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I do remember having that conversation with the chief, and I'm glad you explained the reason why the trash cans can't go in the front. Sounds like Commissioner Young, you want to speak next, is that correct?
yes, please. Richard, I thought that you had originally asked to have the alley reinforced with concrete, at least down at that end. And given the issues with the taking the trash cans to the front, have you decided that that's no longer a good solution? And that's a question to you. And then I guess to the chief, have we looked into the cost of doing that down at that end of the alley, substituting concrete or reinforced concrete or whatever, and then I guess our town manager, are there any grants that we could use for anything like that?
Well, our engineering firm, CBJ, did do a cost analysis for that cement stretch from going down that hill. So they did give us a proposal and for us to use our ARPA funds for that. You will receive a copy of it. And I think you were the one that was having a problem with the pricing or the cost of it.
That
But-
was to do the whole alleyway, I believe, and that was as part of the analysis that was done about water damage. And my objection was that I don't think that our alleyway over here had anything to do with water damage. And so what I'm asking now is, if
That
we
price is
wanted to
there.
just do the end of if we just wanted to do the end of it, not related to water damage, but just do the end by Richard's
Yes.
house.
The price was in that, ma'am. The price
I
was in
thought
there.
the price was for the whole alleyway.
Yes, but the price for that part for cement was in there also.
Well, how much was it?
I don't have it in front of me.
Well, let's clarify something first. It was for the whole alleyway. So, I mean,
That's
and
what I
they
thought.
did,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it
and
was
they
for the
did,
whole alleyway, but it broke it down for with the cement portion also. Because the alleyways we repaved, then the bottom part where the hill is going to be cement. That pricing was broken down in that price.
In the
Because-
proposal that they submitted, it was a breakdown of all the costs. It
yeah, it
wasn't,
was
it
like
was a
breakdown,
breakdown.
it was
But-
3
but-
phases.
It was phased, but for me, I don't suggest that we just do one portion of the alleyway. If we're gonna do
Correct,
some
that's
work,
what I
let's do
was
the
gonna
whole,
say.
let's do the whole alleyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense just to do the end.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
Commissioner Young, you had asked Mr. Cote a question. So, I think you need to give Ms. Cote a chance to answer you. Mr. Cote, are you
Right.
still there?
Yeah, if you could please repeat the question.
The question was, I thought that earlier you had wanted to have the alleyway redone and that would resolve the problem rather than having lighter garbage trucks. Have you changed your mind, or would you still?
No, that's still a proposal. That's still something that we could definitely talk about. But the problem would end up having to be that in the entire alleyway from the top of the hill as it comes down would have to be reinforced with concrete,
Right.
And then.
And so you would accept that as an alternative to having the lighter trucks, which apparently may present a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestions from you guys.
What is the problem with smaller trucks?
And I'm not opposed to doing that, to keeping the heavier trucks, but the road just cannot handle it anymore, and neither can my wall. In any case, it would have to be repaired, that whole section of the alleyway from the top of the hill all the way down to 37th Avenue.
And then my last question, I guess, was to our town manager. I don't think our grants manager is on, whether there's any possibility of getting any grant support for doing that.
Well, I mean, we are working on grants dealing, this was done in this, our engineering firm looked at this in the context of our stormwater management issues. So in that same vein, we are exploring grants and funding opportunities to cover that cost, not just for this particular alleyway. So yes, there are options to help pay for that, but we have to apply for that and hopefully we get it. But that is one of my high priorities, because the cost, even if we just do it in phases, because the cost is so significant, as you know, it's almost $800,000 for all of it. But they did do the report in such a way that we can do it in phases.
Except that the only thing I was concerned about was that this alley, I don't think there are any water issues. The other parts of the
Well,
proposal
I beg to differ. There is
Yeah.
water issues. There's definitely water issues coming down our alleyway.
Yeah, and that's what the engineers found as well, in terms of mitigating, the flooding of the yards there and to develop, inlets there and to direct it away from the yards to the street. So that is why it was proposed in the first place as part of their overall, their look at, our problems.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. It must be from rainwater then, I guess. Anyway, we need to check further on that, I guess, and see whether there is any availability of funds to do that.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I think we've had a very lengthy discussion. I believe from what I heard, Mr. Cote, you're suggesting that we put a sign in to limit the weight of the trucks that come through the alleyway, to ask or request that Bates use smaller trucks to come through the alleyway, and to also have the alley, I guess, repaved or resurfaced with cement. But in the meantime, because that project is going to take a while, it's not going to happen like right away. So
Right.
I can understand why you're suggesting the smaller trucks for now, because that's a temporary fix until we can get the whole street fixed or either figure out a solution for your wall. So there's some takeaways from this. There's some action items for staff, and we will be back in touch with you to keep you abreast of what we have been able to resolve, okay? Or come up with
Thank you
some
very
sort of
much. I
solution.
appreciate it for your time.
You're welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to move on to our next public comment. I believe Ms. Sawyer wanted to
So
speak.
it was actually Ms. Whalum, I believe.
Oh, Ms. Whalum, I'm sorry. Ms. Whalum, are you still with us? Ms. Whalum?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask well, I'm Britlin Whalum. I live at 3819 40th, right across from the town hall. And I wanted to request the commissioners to please, maybe in the next newsletter, maybe in every newsletter from here on, to put a reminder to the residents of Cottage City to, as far as the noise ordinance. I think that a lot of people who live here don't even know that there's a noise ordinance. And I know that PG County has one, so that includes us. And I'm not even sure of the time anymore. I was told that it started at 10 p.m. You had to stop, loud music. Or then I was told at 11 p.m. So I'm not sure what it is either. But I just think that it's something that I just think that the residents of Cottage City need to be reminded. And, maybe it can be some kind of blurb that is always in the newsletter. I don't know, but I just wish that you would do something, because it's a code, it's like, and if they don't comply, then they get a citation, however you handle it. I was reading through the PG County one, and that's pretty much how they handle it. But that's my request, that somehow we get the word out to all the residents that, playing your music just loud enough for you and your guests to hear it is what you need to do. You're free to listen to your music, but you have to respect the freedom of your neighbors to have peace and quiet. And, so it's a give and take thing. And I think a lot of people don't want to realize that. And I don't know. I just think that if it's coming from you guys, it will have more teeth than, me not wanting to call the cops. So me, confronting my neighbors, and it never ends well. So it's like, I'm asking you guys if you could consider doing something like that letting us know there is a noise ordinance. This is what time it kicks in, and, please, comply and respect your neighbors. And by the way, loud music is not cultural. It's just inconsiderate, regardless of the culture.
I think that's something that we could definitely do.
I'd like to answer that real quick because that's one of my topics I want to discuss,
You want to go, you want the floor now?
if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Right
go
now,
ahead.
Go
right
ahead.
now, our code has to be changed due to the fact that it's an old policy y'all have, or old code y'all have, and county supersedes it right now due to the fact that you cannot be lesser in a compliance ordinance than a county or state. And right now, your code is less than the county. The county is strict, because right now the county is 24 hours. It's not a time limit. It's 50 feet. So if you hear music 50 feet from all four sides of your dwelling, that person's in violation. And that's why I want to discuss with the commission tonight is that we need to strengthen our code to either match the county or make it stricter. We cannot, make it less than the county. You can't, well, not less than county. Right now, right now, you're less than the county. You have 150 feet at certain times. Certain times of day, you have it at 50 feet. It depends if it's a business or a residential area. But you have to realize that the county is 24 hours a day, don't have a time limit, and it's 50 feet. And that's why we need to discuss this real quick about this, or how we want to handle it.
Yeah, and to also just a constant reminder, because I sit on my deck all the time and play music, and only I can hear it, and the people who are visiting, and I know it's possible. I just think that the residents need to be reminded constantly that, by the way, so however you do it, it would be much appreciated.
Right, and I think we're gonna have this for the next work session to discuss. We're gonna come up with solutions and some ideas for the commission to throw around. Also, we want to have a permit because we want to allow people to have their parties or their cookouts, but they have to get a permit. And so we want to discuss a permit and also the fee
That's a
permit.
great idea. That would be a great idea.
So this is all the stuff we'll discuss at next month's work session.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. But thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for
Madam-
Mr. Best, you want?
Yes, let me clarify something the chief mentioned. First of all, if a municipal corporation under state law exercises its power to regulate noise, it supersedes and pushes out the county noise ordinance. So you do have a noise ordinance. So the only law is your code of Cottage City on noise. The county cannot come in legally sufficient wise and execute and enforce their zoning ordinance in the corporate limits of the town, because section 4-11 of the local government article, it's a conflict of law statute. It says very clearly that when a municipality exercises a state delegated power to regulate noise, it supersedes the county law. And what the chief said about the municipality having a weaker law than the county law takes effect and supersedes, that is not correct. It's, as I said, the conflict of law. If a municipality has a noise ordinance, that is your noise ordinance.
Is that just for,
let me finish, sir.
Yeah.
If a municipality elects not to exercise a delegated power from the state, then yes, the county ordinance will have effect in the corporate limits. But when the municipality elects to exercise that authority, it pushes out or supersedes, it fills the vacuum, and the county law does not apply in the corporate limits of a municipality. Of course, in Prince George's County, all of the municipalities except Laurel City have the county zoning law apply within the municipal corporate limits, because municipalities in Prince George's County in the regional district do not have zoning authority. So that's a little different than this nuisance dealing with noise. So I hope that clears something up about the conflict of laws. Thank you.
okay, question I have for you, Mr. Best, is that what was told to me by the county is that we cannot have anything lesser than the county. So yes, we can have this regulation, but our regulation has to be the same or stricter.
You're getting some bad advice, and I don't know if you're talking to the county attorney's office, chief, but that is totally incorrect.
Okay.
And I would like to know who's spreading those, misinterpretations of the law. And besides, your duty is to rely on legal counsel of the town, not the county per se. And so if you'd like me to try to fix this, I'd be glad to talk to some of my friends and associates in the county office of law.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk offline about this. Like I said, we need to get this straight and fixed.
Yeah, I imagine what you need to do maybe is do some fine tuning and some amending of your noise ordinance to make it more applicable or robust to handle some of these issues, because it is, I imagine it is 30 plus years old, the noise ordinance of the town, if not more. Thank you.
Could I just speak briefly?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I want to agree with the idea of making our law more strict, our ordinance stricter. We have been having major problems now. That it has gotten better at our end of town, and I know Britland and I have talked about that before, but I know that there's another problem at the other end of town. So I do think that it's important that as the chief suggests, we talk about this at the next work session and get moving towards a stricter town ordinance on this. Thank you.
If I may, Madam Chair, another option would be to repeal the town's zoning ordinance, and then the county can come in carte blanche and enforce their zoning ordinance, which is very sophisticated and far more robust than the current and stricter than the current town. So that's another option. Basically, just delete from your code your noise ordinance. But what that means, though, is your code enforcement officer and your police would have to rely on the county to enforce their code inside the corporate limits of the town. Thank you.
So Kevin, you're saying that our police could not enforce that?
No, the town police
We relied on the
cannot,
county?
ma'am, the town police cannot enforce the county noise ordinances or any other codes.
Okay, because I'm not sure if we want to take away that authority from our police.
No, it would be great if it was Cottage City's noise ordinance, and it was just made clear to everyone at regular intervals, I think the newsletter would be a great way. You guys can probably come up with something even better, but just to
I agree with that too.
remind people, and that if they do break it, it's like, so what are you going to do? It's like, so you get a citation, just like a ticket, and if you get too many, then, and you don't pay them, however you figure it out. But yeah, I've been dealing with this on and off for a while now, and, I've got some ideas,
Okay, thank you. I believe we're going to put something in the newsletter. Not quite sure what it'll say, but we'll figure out something, some kind of verbiage to put in regards
It's looking better and better. The newsletter has been looking better and better, by the way. And I just figured someone with color, using color and just something that really stands out, that people can see constantly, almost like, I don't know, a boilerplate kind of thing that's always there.
Yes. And thank you for your suggestion.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, let's see. Are there any further public comments before we move to the next agenda item?
Me, Amy.
You have the floor.
Thank you. I apologize. I don't, can everybody hear me and see me?
You're good.
Hello?
We can hear you. You're good.
Okay, excellent. So I I had a really fantastic conversation with Commissioner Amarche, and she gave me some really good feedback. Her feedback is that the communication that I have tried to have with the town has been perceived as very antagonistic or aggressive, and that is not at all my intent. So I've set my timer here. I'm not going to talk for more than 3 minutes, I promise. I'd like to start again. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm here not to speak for Cottage City, but I am here to try to speak for the port towns, because the port towns have been ignored for literally hundreds of years. You know, the railroad has run through here for 187 years, poisoning all of our people. The river is toxic. You know, fecal bacteria is unsafe. So what I'm trying to do is, I feel a little bit like the Lorax. You know, I am Amy and I speak for the trees. I am Amy and I'm trying to be a loud voice for the port towns. The conversations that I'm trying to have and the money that I'm trying to get is at the state and federal level. There are literally hundreds of millions of dollars that only our next governor or the senators or even Angela Alsobrooks, she's got a lot of money laid aside for litter reduction. And there are many ways that we could utilize that. So the first thing I'm saying is to apologize if I have come across in an antagonistic way. That was not my intent. I would very much like to follow up with any members of the council, and also with Chief Ayers. I have an invitation to send to you. I'm asking for an hour of your time so that I can walk through some of the town and talk to you about what I'm actually trying to do. So again, I want to state, I am not speaking for the town. I have never represented myself as a spokesperson for the town. I'm just here to help. And part of that is that my family has generational wealth that was built on enslaved people's work. There's nothing I can do about that. I am trying to now use my voice that went to one of the top liberal arts colleges in the country. I did 2 years in marketing at the University of Wisconsin Business School. I did a 2-year program in project management at UCSD. And so I have that experience of negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts. At the same time, I moved out here from California after a horrendous divorce. My partner was abusive. Moving out here, I lost my insurance and ended up checking myself into the emergency ward of the hospital center in Arlington. I was there for about 2.5 weeks. I then lived in a halfway house for about a month. And then I lived in a shelter for almost a year. And the main reason I did that was because that was the only way to get affordable housing. So I'm here speaking because I have a really loud voice from the privilege that I've had, but I'm also here speaking for all the folks who don't have insurance. And even for me, it's been hard to communicate because I do everything on my phone, just like most of our residents do. And honestly, when you have a prepaid phone, nobody's going to participate in these meetings. So my time is up. I've talked to Commissioner Amarche, who has been amazing, and Tracy has also been fantastic. So I'd like to follow up a little bit. I'd like to really share what I'm trying to do, but to say again, I am not speaking for the town. I am trying to be as, this is me. And what I think that I can do is to bring at least $1 million in committed resources within a year of outreach for the port towns. I would love to have a bunch of that in Cottage City, but really it's for the port towns. We have been, sorry, balancing my computer. We have been bound by the railroad for 187 years, and we have been split by the river even more. The port towns have been ignored. We've been put aside. We have bad schools. We have, we're kind of every checkbox that you can have. And that's what I'm looking for the kids who live there, here, for my daughter. That's the money I'm looking for. So as I said, I've spoken with Commissioner Amarche. She has been wonderful in all of the follow-up.
Well, thank you, Ms. Sawyer. We appreciate your input. And I think if you have some great ideas that you'd like to share, I think you should continue to speak with your representative, which is Commissioner Amarche. I believe you do live in her ward. And I suggest that you strongly work with Commissioner Amarche and trying to bring your ideas to fruition. I think that'd be a great start for you. And it seems like you guys have a great rapport, and I think you should continue that. I think you should continue, and whatever ideas that you have, if you prefer Commissioner Amarche to present them on your behalf, that'd be great. But I think you should go ahead and continue to work with Amarche. I think that's a great idea.
And I appreciate that, and I will. But I want to say again, I'm not here. I feel like the Lorax, I'm here for the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I'm here for the unmanaged wild areas that we have in the port towns, from the DC border up to the split in the Anacostia River. We have a huge amount of space that is mismanaged. And I don't think that it could be fixed until we have the governor and our congressional representatives and our senators actually working. So absolutely, I will talk to Commissioner Amarche, but I want to let you know that I am continuing to talk to Wes Moore, who is the presumptive new governor. And when I talk to him, I am not speaking for the town.
That's perfect. That's perfectly fine. Mr. Moore was actually right here in Comar Manor this past Saturday. I got the chance to meet him, and it was a great conversation. I think he'll be great for the town of Cottage City, for Prince George's County, and for the state of Maryland. So I would suggest you continue to do what you're doing. All right, we're going to move on to our next item.
Thank you.
Comments, if I may.
We have another public comment. All right. Could you please introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
This is Andy Bukowski at 16 37th Avenue here in Ward 1. And I had a question about getting in and out of Ward 1 in this particular part of the neighborhood with 37th Place, Parkwood, and Cottage City. We have essentially two exits and entrances. One, because of the bridge being under repair, is like the Wild West over there trying to get in and out. There have been a couple accidents. When you go up Parkwood, particularly during rush hour, I was wondering if one or two of the spaces on, I guess it would be the east side, the uphill side at 38th and Parkwood, could be made no parking, because with the apartments there, people park on both sides of the road, which squeezes that down to about one lane, and people come flying over the bridge and want to cut through the neighborhood to avoid the light at Bladensburg Road. And if you're sitting there trying to turn left or right with the traffic backed up and someone comes flying over that bridge and turns left, it's really dangerous. And I'm just wondering if, and you can think about that. It's just a comment, a suggestion I have. If we could make one or two of those spaces there no parking, so that when you're going up the hill, you could move over to the right, so that if somebody turns into Parkwood, they wouldn't be facing a potential head-on collision. So that's one. The other is, just while I'm sitting here looking at my front yard camera, I stopped counting at 14 people blowing the stop sign in both directions. And they're not blowing the stop sign at like 5 miles per hour. And again, these are people cutting through the neighborhood. They're blowing the stop sign at like 20, 30 miles per hour sometimes. And there are a lot of small children on this corner, and that makes me nervous. My last comment is on the city website, under community, under government, general government listings, the office of the president of Donald Trump is listed. Now, though it takes you to whitehouse.gov, while we were critiquing typos earlier, I thought somebody might want to change who the president is on the city website. That's all I have.
Well, thank you for that catch. Oh my goodness. Yes, we definitely need to update that website if that's what it says. In regards to the speeding through the stop signs, that honestly, it happens throughout the town. It's not just in Ward 1. I'm in Ward 3, and I know I see it in Ward 2. Coming down Bunker Hill, they don't even do a stop and roll. They just zoom right on. It's like,
they're just flying.
I mean, even when I'm trying to turn into my complex, it's really crazy because the car was coming towards me and they were making a left. Well, they were coming towards me. They were making a right. I was making a left on the opposite side. And the car right behind them went right through the stop sign. I had to literally blow my horn and go like, look, it's a stop sign. We each got to stop. And we each got to take our turn. You cannot just go through the stop sign right behind the car in front of you. It's like, I don't know if people don't know how to drive or they don't pay attention. Maybe. I don't know what it is, but they just, it's like they totally ignore the stop signs. And then I'll say, In some places, it's kind of hard to see the stop signs because the branches are hanging so low. So I know, I think it's at the corner of Bunker Hill and I want to say that's 40th. You cannot see that stop sign right there on that corner because the branches are so low. You can barely see, and it's always a car parked right there. So you really can't see the stop sign unless someone cut those branches back. But yeah, you're right. People, they use our town to cut through, to beat the traffic on Bladensburg Road. So I totally agree. We do need to do something about it. Was that Commissioner Young that I heard trying to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Mr. Bukowski a question. We have been, Mr. Pinckney, who's our Public Works Director, and I have been trying to address this problem of cut-throughs. And Mr. Pinckney had 2 speed humps put in on Parkwood between 38th and 37th Place. Because we were thinking that most of the cut-throughs came from 38th going onto Parkwood from that end. Did I understand you to say that there's some who come from 37th also and then go up?
Everyone that I've seen since this meeting started, when I was paying attention and counting on the envelope next to me, was coming off of Bladensburg Road and going up 38th. And I do like those speed humps. You know, some other jurisdictions like in Old Town Alexander and even I think over Mount Rainier, they have signs that say local traffic only. Not that that would really do anything,
right?
But you know, might be a source of revenue just to set a police car there and hand out you know, tickets for blowing the stop sign. You know, it's just a safety issue that I noticed. But I do like the speed humps.
I'm not. Let me just clarify. Are you saying that there are cars also that come from Bladensburg onto 37th Avenue and then turn onto Parkwood going towards 38th?
That's correct. Those
okay,
are the,
so Greg, when we talk about speed humps, we may need to talk about putting some speed humps there. And then I don't know how good the local traffic only signs are, but at least maybe we should put those up at either end of Parkwood, and then we can talk separately about the opening up the end of Parkwood as you suggest.
Yeah,
thank you for bringing
the
this
willies
out.
every time I'm up there trying to pull out, especially between like 5 and 6 o'clock, because you never know if somebody's going to come flying in.
I agree with you. That's dangerous. I've always thought that we needed to have red lights at both Cottage Terrace and Parkwood and on 38. So people would be forced to stop at those intersections. We haven't been able to do that, and the state controls 38. But yeah, it is a big problem. But I'm glad you raised this, especially in terms of the speed humps that we'll be talking about a little later. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Before we go to the next item, are there any other public comments at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll get back to our next agenda item, which is old business. And under that, we have Cottage City Day. And I believe Mr. Pinckney will be providing us an update. Is that correct? Or is that Carol? I'm not sure who's doing that one.
I'm here.
Okay.
So Cottage City Day is August the 20th, as everyone knows. It's from 12 to 4 p.m. And this year we were able to bring in about $2,950 with an additional $1,000 that the chief provided for us from community outreach of money that wasn't spent doing some of the things that they were going to do this summer. So that brought our total up to $3,950. The town has budgeted $4,000 for the event. This year we did miss a couple donations, big donations that we usually get. But nevertheless, it didn't stop us from planning. We did secure a ride that does hold adults, as that was one of the requests from the commission, that if we do a ride that not only children can get on, but adults can get on as well. So we did secure that. We did secure the water slide. We have some games that we're gonna have going on. After many DJs not being able to do it, or not having the time to be able to include Cottage City as one of their events, we were able to secure a DJ. It says 450 on there, but the DJ is actually 400. We've secured we put in for our food permit already. We're still working on our liquor permit, which that's a same day process. I got to take the check up there, and they'll give me the permit the same day. The book bags were bought. We got 150 book bags. They are stuffed with the school supplies that the chief was able to get through donations, as well as community outreach funding that he was able to secure those. And the police department and the explorers, they filled the book bags, so the book bags are all ready to go. We did put in for $200 for ice. However, I spoke with Apollo Ice, and they may be donating the ice, so that may be an expense that we don't have to take care of. We also added in the 360 camera, which was requested that we go ahead and include that in. I did show the commission the masks that we're getting. That's going to be giveaways. We got 200 masks. We do have our bartender ready to go as well. And that's pretty much it for Cottage City Day. We are looking forward to a great event. We pretty much secured everything so far. We're just waiting on, I guess, Brittany's working out the check, so we can make sure that we have a check for everybody. School supplies, Chief was able to get donations for school supplies, as well as community outreach money. We're still waiting on, I believe, 1 or 2 donations that he got coming in. One may be $1,000 check, and the other, I'm not sure how much that one may be. But we're still waiting on those 2 donations to actually come in. I believe they're supposed to come in sometime this week. And that's pretty much it. The only thing really left for Cottage City Day is really to go pick up the food, all of the different little items that we got to get, the beer and the wine. Commissioner Givens is going to facilitate the frosés, the frozen drinks, and then he's also going to facilitate the slushie machine for the kids to be able to take part in that. So we're good to go with that. Park and Planning has approved us for the stage for the porta potties, as well as 100 chairs, 30 tables, and some additional trash cans for the area. So we already have that locked in. We're looking into maybe getting a skate mobile from them as well. At one point they said they wasn't doing it, but then come to find out they are doing it. So we're just trying to get clarity on that so that we can add the skate mobile to our package.
Greg.
Yep.
Sorry to cut you off, but at the event on Saturday over in Comar Manor, Park and Planning did have the skate mobile there.
And that's one of the things that I was trying to get confirmed, because Mike told me that they had it planned, but I just wanted to make sure that they did have it.
They had it, trust me. I was there.
So yeah, that's something that we asked for, and they told us that they wasn't doing. So now that we know that they're doing it, I spoke with Brittany, and we're reaching out to try to get the skate mobile for our function as well. The dunk tank has been secured as well. So we're looking forward to Commissioner Givens and some other people to be in the dunk tank, amen, for that particular game. We're gonna have bingo, plenty of games of bingo that's gonna be going on. We have a sponsor this year who is sponsoring our main giveaway. I believe it's, Carol, if I'm wrong, it's a 55-inch TV that they'll be raffling, as well as some iPods. And I forget what the third one was. I think it was $100 gift card or something like that. But this is those donations are being sponsored by a company who is going to sponsor those. They're going to be on site. They'll give out the tickets to everybody, and then they'll do the raffle drawing, and we'll be able to present the winners with those particular gifts this year. I believe we're also going to be handing out other gift cards that Ms. Tracy will be providing from the ARPA funding that will be given out at that particular time, as well as we have a whole lot of hand sanitizer, gallon of hand sanitizer that we're trying to get rid of. So we'll probably take a couple boxes of that down there, maybe a pallet, and set it down there and try to get rid of some of that on Cottage City Day as well. Our total budget came up to $7,841.25 for the Cottage Day expenses. And we have about $100 left over for little odds and ends that may come up. I actually think that remaining balance is going to be a little bit more because we came in a little under in a few areas, like $25 or $50, and a few of the areas on there. So that money will actually go up. That line item will actually go up. Any questions? No questions? Okay. That's it. Oh, I will say this. Commissioner Givens, I don't know what commissioners will be there to assist in any of the areas of games and things of that nature, passing out food and stuff. If you are going to be there to assist, please let me know. I know Commissioner Givens usually bounce around. He did volunteer, but he also bounces around because he tried to keep the slushy machine filled. He even gives us breaks on the grill and stuff like that. So he'll be kind of mobile and moving around. Commissioner Wheatley, we have set you up with the information area where you can help with Brittany and then maybe give them a break, as well as any delegates or anything that come in, being able to announce them and speak to the people at some point during the event. So anybody else that's going to be there that want to, help out, please let me know if you're going to be there, so that, or you want to help out, so that we can find an area that will best fit you to be able to not only help, but also be able to enjoy the event.
Question. Did we send out, have we developed a list of invitees, people that we're gonna invite, like for the delegates, and like Jolene Ivy and Glenn Ivy and stuff like that?
We're working on some of those things now. Jolene Ivy does know about it because she gave a donation of $500 for the book bags. So she pretty much paid for the book bags this year. And I believe she did say that she was going to take her table because she may be coming to give out some more stuff. But we are putting together a list for a massive email for some of our legislative people to be able to come and participate. And then Ms. Richardson is actually working on some of the resources, social service, and some other people who may be able to come and just set up a table, take one of the tables and set up a shop there to give out some resources. So we're still kind of working on, securing some of those people.
I have a question. So I know we have a carnival theme, and you mentioned an adult ride, and I guess there are going to be some children ride. And what else is there going to be for entertainment?
So there's gonna be one ride. The rides are very expensive compared to years ago when we had rides. So the ride that we chose was the one that the kids can ride and the adults can actually ride. And then, of course, the kids have the water slide as well.
What is the name of that ride?
That ride is called the Fantastic Flyer.
So I know we said we did moon bounce, but I've been to several events and the moon bounces have been there and the kids really do enjoy them. So are we still sticking to that?
You said, can we add that?
I asked, are we still sticking to not having it? I'm asking the commissioners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've already expelled all the funds. There's only like $150 left. So there's not enough money to put a moon bounce in, I wouldn't think.
If we get some more donations between now and then, could we get a moon bounce?
I can definitely try to work a moon bounce in if we get some more donations. But again, we did the planning based off of the commission's wishes of not to have it. If the commission is telling me otherwise now, I mean, yes, that's something that we can look into. We do know moon bounce companies who I can get discounts from on moon bounces. So if that's something the commission wants, just let me know.
I would still be opposed to it, but regardless of my personal listening, are we doing a band or what's the entertainment?
So we're doing a DJ. We're doing a DJ, and then we're also going to have, because we were doing the Zumba, but we're not doing Zumba this year. We're going to have a line dance segment where we're going to do the line dances.
So the entertainment, the DJ, the one ride, the water slide, and the line dancing. That's all the entertainment.
And then we have some games.
What kind of games?
Carnival tabletop carnival games that you can win prizes on.
Are you doing a clown with balloons or anything like that, or no?
No.
And what's the menu? What's the food menu?
The food menu is hot dogs, hamburgers, hot dogs, hamburgers, sausages, corn, chips. Then we're gonna have cotton candy. We're gonna have popcorn, the slushy machine. Am I forgetting anything? I believe that's it.
No corn?
Yes, corn. Corn on the cob. The street corn.
Street corn. Okay, so for your non-meat eating folks, what do you have for corn?
We'll have veggie burgers.
So you are gonna have veggie burgers, okay.
Yeah.
Can you?
I believe they're the soy. I think they're the soy black bean or soy black bean burgers or something like that.
Those are nasty. You didn't get the Beyond Burger or Impossible Burger? Those are much better.
I can look into those.
Yeah, they taste much better.
I'm glad you said something because I don't eat them, so I don't know which ones are good.
They're much better than the black bean. I don't know if you had the Burger King one, the Impossible Burger. Those are good.
Yeah, I have tasted those.
Yeah. All right, so you need volunteers, right?
Yeah, we always need volunteers. Some of the explorers are going to be there to help out, but we also want them to enjoy We do have about a good, I want to say 8 volunteers who'll be there. Some of them are my family, so they'll come out and help, as well as some of the citizens that will be out as well, helping.
Okay, that's good. Good.
I have a question regarding the moon bounce, because you asked if he could look into that, but it was the will of the commission before not to have it. So we would need some other commissioners to weigh in on this, if that's something, if we get more donations that we pursue, because we didn't pursue it because you didn't want it.
Yeah, I only heard from Commissioner Givens, and I haven't heard from the other 2 commissioners. I did ask.
I don't have
Young?
any strong opinion about it. I don't know. I don't know about whether that would be a good thing in terms of passing on current ailments, COVID and the monkeypox that are going around. But I don't have any strong opinion about it apart from that.
Well, we need something to show the will of the commission in light of what was said before. So we've heard from 2.
You heard from 3 because I asked the question.
Yeah. Heard from 3.
And Commissioner Givens says he's against it.
Yes.
Young says she doesn't oppose it. I'm asking, can we do it? So Commissioner Armache?
Do I support having a moon bounce?
Yes, that's the question.
I do, yeah.
All right. All right. If we get enough funds to get it, we'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
the chief had his hand up.
I'm sorry, Chief, go ahead.
Yes, for Greg, I did talk to Canada Dry. They have a community outreach program they're doing this year, where they have staff going out and helping out in the community as volunteers. I put our name as a list. They're gonna try to give us like 5 or 6, so I'll let you know how that transpires.
Okay.
They're gonna give soda too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, so the chief is working with Canada Dry and I believe Pepsi on trying to get donations for drinks. Any other questions?
No questions for you, Greg, but I have a question for the chief. Chief, did you get the tent back from Colmar Manor?
Yes, ma'am. It's packed up in the trailer, ready to go.
Okay, because they were asking on Saturday, and I was like, well, I'm sure somebody will pick it up. We're not letting you keep it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I came by after I left. I came Saturday to help them break it down and put it in the trailer. Okay,
cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Let's move on. New business resolution 202209, ARPA funds for the gas cards.
So you all had authorized $5,000 for gas cards, for $150 gas cards. And we started giving them out last Friday. As of today, we only have 15 left. So they've been more popular than the food gift cards from Safeway. So the question is, do you all want to authorize to spend some more ARPA money for additional gas cards?
Yeah, I think we should do another 100.
I'd be good with it.
Is that a motion?
No, I think it's a question you
It's a
asked.
question.
You're
Yeah,
getting people's
okay,
opinion.
I'm
and then
okay with another 100 gift cards.
okay.
Have a lot of, I'm sorry if you already said this, but have a lot of people been taking advantage of it so far?
Yes, of there are only 15 cards left since
Okay.
we started giving them out last Friday.
Cool. I support it.
So I make a motion that we authorize the town to purchase an additional $100 gift cards at the rate of $50 for $50 gasoline gift cards for town residents from the ARPA fund.
For a
The
total
total
of
was what,
$5,000.
Demetrius?
For a
Yes,
total of $5,000, Demetrius.
for a total of $5,000. That's correct. Thank you.
I second.
Is there a second? Was that Commissioner
Commissioner Young,
Young that
second.
put the second? Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. It's been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young,
Aye.
aye.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Uri's absent. The motion passes. There were no abstentions or nays. All right, so what's the resolution? Do we need to read this resolution into the record or?
Well, that was gonna be my question, because you and I had a conversation and I was following the practice I had seen before regarding the allocation of ARPA funds. There have always been a resolution. But so my question is to Mr. Best, whenever we authorize the spending of ARPA money, is a resolution necessary?
Oh, it depends. You know, if it's appropriated, if the appropriations in can be pointed to in the detailed line item budget and the budget ordinance. I believe though there's a master ordinance under Chief Ayers when he was acting for interim town manager that was passed. So it may require that you have an enabling ordinance or enabling resolution. So, you know, instead of me shooting off at the hip at a town meeting, perhaps you give me a little moment. We can research this together and give the proper answer to the question.
Right, because there is an appropriated line item for ARPA spending, and I've had a discussion with the treasurer. So, is your advice that we just go ahead with the resolution at this time?
No.
Okay.
There may be a necessity for, I believe there was an ordinance passed months ago before you came on board.
Okay.
It authorizes grant programs and may be applicable. So even if a resolution would be appropriate, maybe there might be some language in there that needs to conform with the ordinance. So
Okay.
I just actually ask you to ask that question offline so we can
Okay.
research it.
Very well.
Sure.
The chief has his hand up.
Yes, Chief.
I apologize. I didn't never took it down.
Okay, no problem. All right, so let's move on. We've already discussed the retaining wall. We'll go on to the van repair. Not sure who's taking that one.
Greg, Mr. Pinckney.
I could take the van repair. I believe the police department put the van in the shop with Fleet. And they had sent me an email giving me a breakdown of the repairs. One of the things that was on there was the tires, which was about $1,400. Even when they did the tires on our truck, we opted out of that and just took the truck over to D&D Tires, where we know we can get it done for a lot cheaper than what they are putting on there. So myself and Ms. Richardson both agreed that we should do the same thing with the van and just get the van tires done over there. Apparently they're dry rotted. One of them has a chunk out of it that needs to be replaced. But outside of that, there is still a massive amount of work that needs to be done. The PMs, it wasn't sent in for PMs, but because they had it, they went on and did the survey on it. It was sent in for, I believe, the AC wasn't working properly. So they have to remove the dash for the AC to fix the leaks, and that's $1,000 by itself. Then they did a check on the brakes and the rotors, which all need to be changed, and the bearings need to be repacked. So that's what, $1,150 right there. It needs shifter cable bushings. The passenger side mirror, I believe, is either broken or malfunctioning some kind of way. They did that, and then the regular oil change and PM stuff. They suggested that we get that done as well. So the total for the van repair is $4,205. And of course, that is over the threshold for Ms. Richardson to be able to approve. So we need the commission to actually approve that.
But you're taking the tires off to buy them separately. So it's the 4,205 minus the 1,410 for the tires. Is that correct?
Correct. So the total would be $2,795.
Commissioner Givens, before I forget, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion for to pay vehicle repairs for the van in the amount of $2,705 for the town's van to fleet maintenance.
Can we have some discussion before you make that motion, please?
You can have the discussion. That's what you have after you make the motion. You usually do that part, but that's fine. You can do it before.
I want to ask a question. So this is the van that we got from Fleet. This is the van that we got for like $1
from the county.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, was it from county? I'm not sure who we got it from,
Yeah,
but we got
from
it.
county. Yes, from county. Yes.
Okay. I guess my question is it worth putting that much money into this van?
Yes, the engine is excellent shape. The body is in good shape. It's the point where you just need maintenance to it. And what's cost the most is the air conditioning unit that went out. And why it's so expensive, because you gotta take the whole dashboard off.
Okay, so I guess that leads to my next question. So have we been keeping up the maintenance on the van?
Yes, ma'am.
It's like.
Yes, ma'am. It went in service. It went in service 6 months ago. 6 months ago, it had an oil change and everything. Went with the fleet.
Mm-hmm. And what year is the van?
2012.
Okay, so this is a 10-year-old van.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that much mileage on the engine. The engine's in good shape.
Okay, so right now we need tires, we need a new air conditioner. And what was the other thing that needed to be done?
The regular PM, which is going to be change the oil change, the packing of the bearings, change of the brake pads.
Okay.
Rotors, calipers.
All that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's actually the most expensive part.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that.
And just for the commission, all of the vehicles with fleet are on rotating schedule for maintenance. So we get our they set us up for appointments every 6 months. So our vehicles go in for service every 6 months.
And we've been keeping up those service appointments.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, those were my questions. I'm not sure if anyone else had any questions. If not, we can, continue with Commissioner Givens' motion and, look for a second. Are there
Well,
any?
this is Carol. The amount should be 2,795. I just want to clarify that. Once we take out the tires, I think he said 705.
Yes, he did, but,
2,795.
okay, that's the correct amount.
And just for another clarification, at the bottom, I'm just reading that too. It says original, they're quoting at they're making it so that we quoted at 4,500 to give them buffer because of other little stuff like bolts or whatever that they may have to add on. So I'm not sure if the commission wants to give a cap.
Carol, your limit is 3,000, right?
I thought it was 1,000.
Is it 1,000? I thought it was 3,000.
Plus 1,000.
Is 1,000? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We moved the numbers for bidding to different to different numbers, but so I retract my my motion. And just let me know when you're ready to do a new motion.
Okay. Are there any other questions? If not, we can do the new motion.
Okay, well, I make a motion that we authorize up to $3,000 for the repairs of the town's van with maintenance by fleet management.
Is there a second?
A second.
I'll go ahead and second.
I believe Commissioner Armitage made the second first, so we'll go with Commissioner
Okay.
Armitage. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, aye.
Marche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Urie's absent. There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. What's next? Speed
But
humps.
I have a comment, and
Mhm.
I'm just thinking this. If we took it in 6 months ago and we got tires that have dry rot now, it gives me some concern that nobody at Fleet saw that. I don't know. It just,
You said we got tires?
no, if it was taken in for service 6 months ago, and now you have tires that are dry rotted.
I can show you the documents that we went through service. Tires were not put on there, but it was service in reference to oil and fuel and stuff like that. So I can.
But they don't inspect the vehicles generally when they bring them in?
Yes, they do. They do. They do. Dry rotting, I don't know. Maybe they consider dry rot. I don't know. I know for a fact they went 6 months ago, and they know we do a full inspection of a vehicle when it goes in for the service.
No,
Like I
I
said,
hear exactly what Carol's saying.
I understand what you're saying too, but I didn't speak to the guy. I know for a fact that we sent it for service 6 months ago, and like I said, it's the point where-
We're not
No.
saying that it didn't go into service. We're just saying, and that was what I was alluding to when I said, are we getting the maintenances done? Because for it to have that many problems and it went in for service 6 months ago, I mean, what in the world happened in the last 6 months that we have all these issues? One, the dry rotted tires seemed like someone would have caught that before.
Well, with the dry
At
rotted
least at the
tires,
maintenance.
that's one of the reasons why I'd rather take it over to D&D, because they could say it's dry rotten as a way of just, hey, let's put some new tires on here and get this thing up and running. the way they do their vehicles. I'm not sure. But that's the reason why we don't get tires done from them. We go to D&D and get our tires done. But
Okay, so
somewhere
you're
down the
saying
line,
it's a possibility that they may not even be dry rotted.
it's a possibility we may not need all 4 tires. It may be 2 tires. I know one for sure because he said it looks like, I guess, a curve or something was split, something metal or something, and it took a piece of one of the tires out.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Okay.
rest of the tires, I can't, until I see it and take it to the tire shop, I can't really say if it's dry rotted or if it's just kind of wearing down and they just want to change the tire. I don't know.
Okay, so we need another opinion on those tires.
Right.
All right.
That's why we took them out.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move on. Speed humps.
Speed humps, and you want to start with the speed humps?
Okay, yeah. Greg had 2 great speed humps put in on Parkwood between 38th and 37th Place. And then he and I met together and discussed adding 2 on 37th Place. I had been under the impression that there were people who cut through in the way that Mr. Who spoke earlier,
Bukowski.
But Greg was thinking that it was mainly coming from 38th and then going across to Bladensburg. In view of what Mr. Bukowski said, and also what I do think I remember, another neighbor, the one who had requested the speed humps in the first place, I think we ought to put 2 speed humps on 37th Place as we had discussed, and also on Parkwood between 37th Avenue and 37th Place. Now, it may be that we want to have one on 37th Avenue as well between Bladensburg and Parkwood, because it does appear that people are coming from that direction too. So that would mean adding 5 or 6, 2 on 37th Place, 2 more on 37th, 2 more on Parkwood between 37th Place and 37th Avenue, and then 1 or 2 between Bladensburg and Parkwood on 37th Avenue. And then I think other commissioners had spoken about doing speed humps in their areas. And this is off the point of speed humps, but I think we also need to talk about maybe doing what Mr. Bukowski suggested about doing the yellow no parking lines at the end of Parkwood on where it meets up with 38. Should I say anything else, Greg?
That pretty much sums it up. The speed humps on Parkwood that I guess have raised the concern. Ms. Richardson has gotten some complaints about speeding along Parkwood. I'm sure there were some commissioners as well as the chief who we had a caller that came in on one of the meetings and talked about Parkwood by the top lot area, 40th Place and 41st. So
right on the other side of 38th, right? Yeah, there were some, yeah.
Right. So originally, with the 2 that myself and Commissioner Young looked at, plus the 3 that me and Ms. Richardson looked at, that was 5. I did a price breakdown based off of the speed humps that we had just received. And to get those 5 speed humps, we're looking at $14,250. Now to add on the additional, what is it? 8 speed humps.
3 or 4, yeah.
that,
down on the other end of Parkwood and then on 37th Avenue,
correct.
which I think these are really worth the money because they're kids that play down there along Parkwood over here and on 37th Avenue as well, around that corner, the same corner that Mr. Bukowski was talking about. He lives on the other side of 37th Avenue, so he can really see what's going on in that corner. And there are a lot of kids that play in that whole area on 37th Avenue and then coming up Parkwood there. So I think it's important that we go ahead and spend the money on those. And then I know the school bus goes through on the other side, so I think it's important that we spend the money on those over there as well.
Commissioner Young, that was going to be one of my questions. Doesn't the don't school buses stop near there?
You know, I'm not sure where they stop myself. I'm really not. But just based on where the kids play and where some of my neighbors have told me speeders come through, we used to have them on Cottage Terrace, but then when we turned that into a one-way street, every now and then we get one, but they're not as bad. So I think it has become more of a problem on Parkwood and then 37th Avenue and 37th Place. But I don't frankly know where the bus stops.
Commissioner Givens. So
Actually, I had my hand up first, Commissioner Givens. So if you don't mind, can I go and then you go after me?
Go ahead.
I had a question. So my question is the speed hump process. I thought that we had said the process was that if someone wanted a speed hump on their street, that they had to go through a process of getting so many signatures on a petition for that street. So is it now, so are we now just putting in speed humps wherever we think they should go? And we're not asking the residents on that street if they even want the speed humps there? I understand it's for safety, but I'm just trying to figure out what's the process in getting a speed hump installed? Because I thought it was a different process.
The normal process is for a resident to get a petition and have it signed by, I believe it's 70%, 50 or 70% of the people on their street. But the commission does have the authority to install speed humps if they feel if it's a danger. And these were some of the things that Commissioner Young had brought up as dangers and wanted to present it to the commission. So that's pretty much what is being done today, is presenting these things to the commission. And the commission could choose not to go with that and still make it so that the residents have to speak up and get the petitions. But she just wanted to really just put it out there for the commission to consider installing these speed humps to kind of slow down the traffic based off of the complaints that's been coming through.
Okay, and I know you said the street names, but do we have pictures of the streets or anything? Or we don't have pictures?
I don't have pictures. I can provide that for the commission. If the commission is wishing to go down this route, as I get these get quotes to come in. The quotes that I'm giving you right now is just pretty much based off of what we just got done. It could be a lot cheaper because we're getting more, but I'm just giving you an idea pretty much of what it would cost. So this is not asking for no approval or nothing tonight. It's more so, is this the wishes of the commission to go down this road of just installing these speed humps or doing something different?
Okay, all right. Sound like you were asking us to take a vote tonight.
No. I'm just giving you numbers for you to consider how much it would cost if you would consider installing these speed humps. Because the money got to come from somewhere. So I want to give you a roundabout figure of what you may be paying for. That's all.
Okay, so if we agree to go ahead and install them, you're going to get us at least 3 bids though, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You can go, Commissioner Givens.
No, you made my point. I don't think it's prudent for the commission to just arbitrarily, even though they, their own opinion is that they believe it's in the best interest of the community. These people who live on these streets, I think that you should, if that's how you feel, you should go around and make sure you encourage and get their support, because they have to drive up and down these streets, and even if you might live in the neighborhood yourself, you're just one resident of everyone else who lives on the street. So I wouldn't be necessarily opposed, but I would definitely want the support of the community of who has to deal with all of those speed humps, because it may they may or may not feel I think it's prudent for the commission to get their insight. So that was my what's name. And also, the time is 9:30. At 10 o'clock, I will be exiting this meeting. So if you have important things to discuss, I suggest you either move them up or move the meeting along.
I just wanted to say, I brought these speed humps over here up because they were brought to me by residents. If the commission ultimately decides that we need to get signatures of so many people, then that's something that we can deal with. But I wasn't just bringing them up on my own thought. The problems were brought to me by residents. So, and I do know that we all know that there's cut throughs and speeding by people who do that.
Okay, so I think Greg had said this was just for our awareness. We're not taking a vote tonight.
Right.
So I think we have enough information. Since you said your residents brought it to you, we can move on. I'm looking at the agenda. I'm trying to see if there's some things that we can skip and table till next month. I think we can table the scholarship criteria. I do think we need to pick the award because we have to announce it at Cottage City Day. I don't know if Greg, you have anything else to report out tonight? If not, can we table your report?
I only have one thing that I wanted to bring to the commission, but my report it's written out, so you guys can read that.
Okay, Chief, you have anything major you need to report out?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay.
Report can stand.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one thing that Commissioner Givens probably won't want to be a part of, but that's it.
Okay. So we did the speed humps. Trash can criteria, can we table that? I don't think that's like a hot priority right now. We can table that one. We're gonna table EG and number 8. Let's see, let's pick the scholarship awards and then we'll move down the list. So we had 2 candidates.
I move we give them both. I move we split it between the 2.
I want to make a comment on that. I disagree with giving them a split. And I'm gonna explain my reason why I don't think they should split their award. One of the recipients received a full scholarship last year. This is her 2nd time receiving it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't give her something, but I don't think we should split it. I think the other candidate, this is her 1st time applying. She's a high school senior. This is her 1st time applying. I think we should give her the lion's share of this award since she's never received one before and she is just starting out in college. Whereas the other candidate, this is her 2nd year. And as I stated, she received a full scholarship last year because no one else applied. So I would suggest that we give the senior, the high school senior, $2,000 and give the 2nd sophomore in college $500. Now, if you guys want to play around with the numbers, I'm fine with it. But splitting it straight down the middle with someone that has already received a full scholarship, I don't think that's, I wouldn't agree to that. So you guys can discuss it, figure out how you want to do it. But that's my opinion.
Whatever the majority wants to do.
I agree with Wanda. I actually didn't, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read the scholarships, but I do believe that it shouldn't be split down the middle, only because if people have taken the time to do X, Y, Z and put the dedicated information down that we're asking for, then we should make that as definitely a consideration, as well as those other consideration factors which Wanda mentioned. So I don't agree with the split down the middle. I do think that it should be heavily weighed on one side and the other. Thank you.
Commissioner Armitage?
Yeah, I agree with what you said.
All right, you sounds like everyone agrees with the numbers as well. So, Ms. Richardson, we're gonna give the high school student 2,000, and we'll give the college student 500.
I think you should mention in this regard, well, I don't know, maybe you don't. I think that you should mention the recipient of the award. You're going to be doing that at College City Day anyway, so it's not like it's a secret. This is a beneficial educational award towards their educational, has nothing to do with their financial situation. So,
oh, I was going to say the name. So, the high school student name is Jasminda Waldron, I believe the last name, and the sophomore is our Explorer Commander, I believe. Nadia is her first name. Am I saying her name right?
Nadalyn.
Nadalyn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nadalyn. And I don't know Nadalyn's last name.
Dumanzer.
Dumanzer. Okay, so Miss Walder will receive $2,000. Miss Umanzer will receive 500. And we will make the announcement at College City Day and we got to pay the money directly to the college, but we'll let them know. I guess you guys can let them know or let them know they won the award. But I will say that both applications were great. They did really good write-ups. I would say they both are going to be great adults when they graduate, because if it's based on what they wrote in their application, I would say they're going to be a success. And I wish them very much well in their endeavors. So we're skipping the scholarship criteria. Greg, you said you had one thing you wanted to share.
Yes.
You want to go ahead and do it?
So every year, Public Works do a workshop with the Westminster, down at Westminster, for trees. And this year, because we have a tree canopy committee, they're part of our tree process with the grants and everything. I wanted to ask the commission if it was okay to send I can't send them all, but send one of them down to this particular workshop as well. It's $100. That's the early bird special. I know it's under the amount that Ms. Richardson can approve, but I wanted to get the blessings of the commission, since this is not a staff member. This is actually just a resident who's a part of the committee. And I felt as though, since we have a tree committee, they should get the knowledge of trees, insects, disease, and stuff like that they're going to be offering at these workshops.
Who's sponsoring the workshop?
The city of Westminster.
Where's the training located?
It's sponsored by the Westminster Tree Commission and Bartlett Tree Experts.
But where is it located?
In Westminster, Maryland.
And they're going to be providing their own transportation?
They will have to provide their own transportation. It's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
What date?
October the 11th.
And they agreed to attend? You've already spoken to them?
Yes, I spoke to, we had a meeting today actually with a few of the Canopy Committee, And I believe it's Mr. Ben Harris who has agreed if the commission would allow for him to go, he would go.
Well, how did the commission feel?
I'm okay with it. It's only $100.
I'm okay with it.
Same, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too, so there you go.
All right.
All right, let's move on. Carol, you have something, what is this, legit? Do you want to
Yeah.
report that out, or can it be taped?
It's quick, because I've sent you all documents via email that you can look at, and I won't take up time. Just the history of our claims and things like that, and our loss summary, just as a matter of information. I thought it was important for you all as commissioners to see that. But we have renewed legit. Our premium has increased by 27%. It is $27,216. Last year, we paid $20,021. And I spoke to the underwriter and asked him what is the reason for the significant increase. And he said it's because of the pandemic and the market, and it's higher premiums across the board. And also, one of the other reasons is I made some changes to the policy because it had the wrong number of employees. So that was part of the increase. And they had, our policy previously did not include the public works building. So once those were corrected, it did account for some of the increase. But he says there's been about a 20% increase across the board in most premiums. So I just wanted to explain that to you.
Thank you. And the public works building is now covered by our insurance with legit?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
This other one's quick too. I went over, I logged into our Select Trade account, which is the company that handles our solar credits. And let me share my screen. Sorry. And what's supposed to happen is we have a meter, and we're supposed to get the number off the meter and then enter it into the website for this company in order to get our credits. So you have to do it between the 1st and the 15th of the month, of every month. And when I went in there, I learned that the last time we had been paid anything or that it had been reported was October of 2019. But going forward, I will be reporting it every month so we don't miss out on any more money.
Commissioner Givens.
Yes.
Yeah, so this proves, I mean, what she's saying is she's being nice about it. We've lost a significant amount of money because there's a failure, a breakdown in the system in the administrative aspect. And this is a result of the failure of the town to have implemented SOPs, standard operating procedures. If it was an appropriate SOP standard, that would be in there, as one of the things. So I think that moving forward, that's what we need. And I appreciate you finding this, and any other things that you find, we need to, as we move forward, we need to kind of establish an appropriate standard operating procedures for a multitude of things, a multitude of things. When someone leaves, there should be an out processing that's a standard operating procedure. When someone separates from the town, through passwords and so on and so forth. So I think that, and I don't know who works on that. I mean, clearly the commission is not qualified or able time-wise to be able to do that. So, but that is something that we need to consider moving forward so that that doesn't occur again. And it's not the first time it's occurred. It's occurred in the police department as well, where they didn't process it. It's not this chief, but we lost $35,000 worth of revenue for the failure to process tickets because, and there may have been a standard operating procedure for that, but it just didn't happen. And there was no oversight, and it was kind of found out by accident. So I yield back. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Let's see.
I have something real quick.
Yes, Chief.
University Park asked to purchase our Safeway. It's a three-wheel vehicle we have in our garage that the motherboard has blown, and they don't make any parts for that vehicle any longer. I'm seeing if the commission will give me permission to sell that vehicle for $500 to University Park for parts for theirs.
You talking about the Segway?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys don't use it, do you?
The motherboard is blown and we can't get parts because they stopped selling parts for that product. And that's why University Park wants to buy ours for the parts.
I'm okay with it. I don't care.
Givens, I'm okay with it. We got it on the grant.
Thank
I'm okay with it.
I'm with me.
Okay. All right. So Halloween event, is that something we can table till September?
Yes.
Okay. Laptops for the meetings. Can we table that or you want to talk about it tonight?
We can table it.
Okay. Gift card update.
Well, I kind of told you earlier, we have, we only have 15 of the gas gift cards left. And then for the food gift cards, we have a total of 253 cards totaling $16,670.
I wish we could trade those in for gas cards.
I know. Well.
All right. Well, we're going to be giving some of those away at Carter City Day, though, right?
Right.
We just got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Ward 1, Commissioner Young, you have anything to report out?
No, nothing other than what we've already talked about. Thank you.
Thanks. Ward 2, Commissioner Armache?
I will send you guys an email with some dates. I have nothing else to report. I don't want to take up meeting time.
Okay. I have a couple of things I want to report. The first one is that District 47 is having a cookout on September 17th from 12 to 4 at the Bladensburg Waterfront Park, if anyone's interested in going. As you know, the Peace Cross is being renovated. They're going to have a rededication on Veterans Day, which is November 11th at 11 a.m. They're asking that the municipalities, all 27 of them, bring their town flag to plant at the rededication or reopening for to show our support in the Peace Cross. I think it'd be a good idea for us to do that.
When did you say that is again?
November 11th at 11 a.m. And then Reverend Addison, I saw her Saturday, and the principal from Roger Heights is retiring with over 30 years of educational service. She's been an educator for over 30 years. I can't think of the principal's name, but she's been to our town meetings. She's retiring. Reverend Addison would like for us to either maybe do a proclamation or send her a thank you note or something to thank her for being the principal to our children. So I have no objections in doing that. Let's see, what else do I have? Senator Augustine, he had his quarterly breakfast with the municipalities for District 47. And one thing that he's asked us to do is to think about where we see our town in the next 5 years. So I think we should probably brainstorm about that and maybe give him some projects, which we know one is that community outreach, but anything else that we want to see done within the next 5 years, we can start talking about that. And then finally, I would like to attend the fall conference. It's going to be in Annapolis. It's from October 9th to the 11th. And the total for registration, hotel, and per diem would be around $1,100. So I would appreciate if the commission would support my attendance at the fall conference. And that's the MML fall conference, to be clear. And that's it
I
for
think
me. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I think Commissioner Uri also wanted to go to that. I don't think I will go, but I would support both of you going. And I would also ask a favor. Could you email us or something with the dates of the things that you mentioned at the beginning, the various
Sure.
events?
Sure.
Thanks.
Commissioner Givens, I would.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Go ahead, Commissioner Givens.
Commissioner Givens, I'd support the chair going to the fall conference. I've made my position known in regards to Commissioner Uri's attendance. If she wants to go, I think that she should pay her own way if you want my vote, and then we'll reimburse her in the event that she attends. But I will not support her attendance with the town footing the bill based on her previous behavior during the meetings, during the attendance of the last meeting.
But you would repay her if she does attend.
Yeah, that would be fine. But if she does attend and we confirm that, I wouldn't have a problem reimbursing that.
Thank you. Commissioner Armitage.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I was just gonna say that I was also potentially interested in going. I'm considering it. When do we need to let I guess Brittany know by, or who do we need to notify?
In order to get the early bird special, we need to notify Brittany, and I forget the deadline date.
Sure, it's in the email. Okay, I'll look for it in the email.
It's in the email.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
And
Well,
I absolutely support you going.
thank you. All right. That's all I have. Commissioner Givens, did you want to report anything out tonight?
Yeah,
Commissioner Uri isn't here.
I also support the proclamation for the principal, as stated, as you previously mentioned. And I don't have anything to report out other than they're seeming like they're doing a good job on during the trees. I've gotten some compliments from the residents. The only thing I'd like to see, I haven't really seen from the police department, is two things. I'd like to see someone on the bike, and I'm not sure if it's too hot for them to ride the bike or not. So, but I know I haven't seen anybody even when it wasn't hot, right? So at some point, I'd like, and it maybe no one's certified. So maybe that's probably the first question I should ask the chief. Is anyone certified to ride the bikes, and are the bikes in operational condition?
Yes, everybody's certified to ride the bicycles. And I'll make sure we start putting some kind of plan in action to put out at least once, twice a week.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And also, the only other thing I would like to see is when they're riding these trikes, I'd like to see the officers wear a helmet for their safety, and for their own officer safety. I know it's a little bit of inconvenience how it looks or how it may feel, but we definitely want to consider the employee safety aspect here as well. So, and so I'm not sure if they have helmets or if we need to get them, but I think we need to move in that direction if they're gonna operate those moving vehicles like that. So.
Yes, sir. No problem.
And the benches on the gazebo have been painted or stained and sealed, so that looks good. And anticipate between now and Friday, possibly sealing the pavers at that location. I would just ask Public Works on a weekly basis until the winter time, if we can just, and perhaps like on a Friday before they leave, sometime on a Friday, just go and wipe down and blow off the area in case, in the event that someone needs to use it for the weekend. Because when I go by there now, I see that, it's been cleaned a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I think if we do that on a regular basis, then it becomes the norm, like to keep it clean and, and looking good. So I think that's pretty much all I have. And also if Public Works, and perhaps maybe in September, we need to backfill those edges of that gazebo so that we can start planting dirt, and so we don't have that drop off, and it's a safety thing for me, a trip hazard. I don't want that, so we need to consider that. And also, is there any update from Public Works as to when they're going to do the or admin, when they're going to put the railing in along Parkwood?
I spoke with the gentleman yesterday and he said that he should be good to go. We're putting it in next week.
Okay, all right, well, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
All righty, so we are at the end of our agenda. Again, Commissioner Uri, our at-large commissioner, is absent tonight, so we will not have a report from her. It is 9:57.
One moment. The deadline to register for MML is September 8th.
Okay, Commissioner Armistead, did you get that date?
And our next meeting is September 14th.
Well, we're in agreement that we're going.
Okay.
Commissioner Armistead? I guess we lost her. But,
So I'm here as far as the conference goes. Sorry, my son was talking to me. He's being impatient.
the deadline is September 8th.
Say it again.
The deadline is September 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be able to decide by then.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
what about in terms of Commissioner Uri? Commissioner Givens made a recommendation relative to Commissioner Uri. So where are the rest of the commissioners in regard to that?
I think Commissioner Young, you said, as long as she attends, we'll reimburse her, right? And Commissioner Givens, you said you were okay with that well, right?
That's correct.
I was just clarifying what Demetrius said. I wasn't really expressing an opinion on whether we should do that or not.
Well, what's your opinion? I thought you were. I thought you were expressing an opinion.
Well, let me think on it while you all talk.
Okay, well, Commissioner Givens says he's leaving at 10, so we had 2 minutes. Commissioner Armistead?
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think I agree with what Demetrius said.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
But at the same time, I don't know what her day job is. I don't know what kind of, cash she's working with, if that would, prevent her from being able to attend. But I mean, yeah,
That might be something to ask her about, whether she would be able to charge it, for example.
I mean, but we already been through the whole conversation about what happened, and she did not handle that responsibly.
I think I have to agree with Commissioner Givens and Commissioner Armistead. I agree.
Okay.
So I think we're good, right?
Yes, thank you for the clarification.
Okay, so it is 9, well, it's 10 on the nose, Commissioner Givens, and we are done. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Givens, I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second, please?
I second. Good night, everybody.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Given time. Given time.
Aye.
Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Thanks,
night.
Mr. Brown.
Night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.